Okay. So I'm running out of fixing the frame here. So I'm running out of space. I deleted a 4-hour video, 3 hours something. It didn't give me any time for that. Not any time. Okay, so now I'm just trying to record. This is this group manipulating. So I ate. I did want to get into something to eat. And that's the thing. I've been fasting. So the thing about it is, when I wrap something around the thigh, all this goop comes up at the top and hangs over whatever I wrap. Now, I've been in the army, blessed to be in the army 18 years. I would imagine running and working out, fit, toned body, muscular. Not so with the thighs. They've put some kind of thing on the back of my thigh, some type of growth thing that they want someone to discover and go through this thing. They're the ones that put it there. And that's why they're focusing on the back of my thighs with all this fat, as if I'm a fat eater. Not that someone is a fat eater. I'm not. And the thing is, my poop doesn't float. It doesn't braid. It's because it's this gunk stuff. And it's not even it's a chemical. It smells like a chemical. Me and my brother and my mom, our poops should not smell the same. They shouldn't be the same because we have a different diet. But what I'm here to say is that it's very intense. I drink a lot of water. I bought pallets of 50 of the 40 packs of water from Costco. It costs $300. I've bought those. We drank through those in 6 months. I drink a lot of water. So they're trying to say I have some issue with my pee, some kidney issue or something, turning my pee brown. However, if I stay up all night, my pee never turns brown. If I stay up 2 days, my pee never turns brown. Never ever turns brown. I go to sleep, the sleep gas hits, they come in and turn my pee brown, probably dehydrating me from putting all this fat gunk stuff inside of me. Okay, this stuff that they're putting inside. And that's not enough. At night, they put these calluses all over my feet. Now, you would think that while I'm in active army, we do 2 miles every other day, that I'd have calluses. I don't have. They went into my records yesterday, okay, and put, oh, she has all this stuff on with her feet. They're putting corns on my feet. They literally, I wake up and I have all these corns on my feet. I wear big shoes that don't rub against my feet whatsoever. I wear 8.5 dude, 8.5 men. I never tie my shoe. I just lift the top part and slip my feet right in. That's how big the shoe is. That's because I have the plantar fasciitis. I have to put so many arches and stuff in there. My feet don't rub up against. All of a sudden, I release my cosmetics, lotions and stuff. They're making my bones change in my feet. I'm not kidding. Then they went into my records and said she has the hippocampal bone, foot 1, 2, 3 foot thing. I didn't have all that. I didn't have any of that. And I wasn't a sick call. Not that they're a sick call ranger, but I wasn't at the sick call because they were always putting me on special missions. If I was always, where's Doeman? Where's Doeman? Where's Sergeant Doeman? Where is she? Sick call again. No. And you would never see me at the PX buying anything for these callus things. Now I'm using these callus things all of a sudden because they create them. They're the ones creating this stuff. With my teeth, with everything. They will, when I created the cosmetics, the next day I woke up and my skin had all these scratches and this stuff. They did this stuff to my hand. And then they go in and they take the soap and they take all the moisturizer out of the soap and put like an alcohol stringent, some type of stringent something inside of the hand soap. So that every time I use the hand soap, it's making my hands, all the cracks they put in my hand, it stings it and all this stuff. They're the ones doing this, okay? So, and like I said, my friend, you shouldn't be watching this. This is the video I hope gets no views. The thing about it is the mind, the reticular activating system, if I keep, so, okay, and this is the thing. Now, at one point, so my brother, they're telling my brother what to say, what to do, my mom, and they're doing this sort of, same as they did my commanders. Now, you know my commanders, by the way, since this federal group, the hazing, harassing, molesting me using sleep gas, they sent down, I never have been at this unit for a single drill. So they sent down this new leadership, okay, that I never really knew, just my first drill. Come down during my sleep in my sleep quarters in the middle of the night probably around 1 a.m. But they changed the time because I drove on the freeway and I know it's about 1 or 2 in the morning. And they took a picture and they put 12 midnight. I know it wasn't 12 midnight. Okay. I don't believe it was 12. The leadership came to me at around 12 midnight, because I knew it was just a couple hours to work. So it was about 1, maybe 2, just a couple hours left to work. For work, I start getting ready for work at around 5. Around 5, they were meeting at around 6:30, maybe a little bit earlier than 7, because I remember being there when it was dark. Okay. And my window was down, didn't roll up, and I asked him, my window's down and I need to fix it, and is it okay? And he said, please give her a U. No concern for safety whatsoever. Soldiers are not like this. My last unit that I'm actually legally with now, they said I was removed from the military, but God said I'm not. The Army, so I have phlegm in my throat. They're creating that with the gas. I'm not kidding. They can create phlegm. They can create a cough. They can create a sneeze. All with gas. All with gas. Okay? They're creating it. I'm not a phlegmer. I have phlegm in my throat. Phlegm. No. If I had any sort of anything, they would have known. I wouldn't have been able to join the Army if I had this issue, that issue, that I was crazy or had a mental issue, all this stuff. I wouldn't, okay? So, they sent this leadership to come down in my sleep quarters and say, I told this new unit that I had gone to, this one that I'm in now. I said, they also control my finances. When they know I have money in my bank account, they tell any random company to charge my card who they don't have my new card number. They don't have my card number. I already canceled the membership or something. So some big charge came through my thing when it shouldn't have. So, and because they know the exact hour when the money gets put in, 2 seconds later, a big charge comes in. So in other words, they're manipulating my finances. I have seen them make my card not work, and then I have to call and they say, we were just making sure. But it wasn't not in anything that you would need to do that for. I mean, I would say, yes, that's very kind. But I'm telling you, they're manipulating my finances. They're really actually manipulating. They also, you know how, well, the military does give soldiers life insurance. But not me, obviously, okay? Now, this is not the Army doing this. Somehow, they started charging me personally. They charge all the soldiers personally. But according to my understanding, I didn't get life insurance because they were paying. I had life insurance, but they were like paying it to me and then I could pay them back later. I never asked for that. They told me after I reported the teacher, they said I had thousands and 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 thousands. I'm not done yet. Thousands of dollars worth of debt. Not so. We have actual financial audits in the military. It's every year because we only do 12 days of work, 12 actual instances of work, or 13 with a two months here. And then in the military, we do it every single month. So it's just no way that I was overpaid or did it. I also elected to go the less amount. I don't know it's fake. It's fake. This federal group went in and is manipulating. Matter of fact, they had us filling out our life insurance 2 times every single month in the reserves. We had to stand in these long lines, the line thing again. And in the line, they would be sexually harassing, using the F word, innuendos. That's what she said all day long. I try to, excuse myself from that. This is your place of duty. Okay, this is not the Army. The Army does not take all of their staff and have them stand in a line all day long while we wait for one person. They have us go do our work. And then as soon as one person's gone, they go say, hey, go alert soldier so-and-so and let them know, come over here. No, we were not allowed to do that. We had to stand in line. That's because they were hazing, harassing me. I had to sit there and listen. You can't wear earphones in uniform. Had to sit there and listen to all these sexual and, hey, please watch your language. Oh, it's hard for me to watch my language. It's going to take me a long time because I've always doing, plus we're in the Army. And I have to say, now this is not the soldier saying this because I've always said, watch your language. Everyone knows that. And the active Army, everyone would just say, whoa. And they would just change your language, okay? If people saw me coming and would evaporate, they would like, let me get out of here. Here she comes with all her rules. Okay. Um, so, so I say this to say that this was all part of the hazing harassment. I remember one time I opened the door to go to one of these death paperwork sessions that they had, and they had more than they had. It was sometimes it lasted the whole drill. So the first day and then the next day we're all in line. I open the door and they say, you're going to jail. Now, of course, they're not saying that to me as soon as I open the door. They're talking to their friend, but this was them saying that. This is them. They're constantly surrounding me with death stuff, jail stuff, police stuff. I remember waiting at Fort Meade. I'm waiting there, just waiting, and you strike up conversation with someone, and he says, yes, my friend is like an FBI guy or a police guy at a high level, and I walking down. They at one point they are harassing me. I know I talked about this, where all the guys are saying and women do you want to ride? I can't walk to the DFAC, to our cafeteria, without somebody rolling up next to me. No other soldier. Can I give you a ride? This one lady, black lady, did the same thing. And she goes into the police department area and she goes, can I give you a ride? This is them hazing and harassing me. This is at Fort Meade, okay? This is when they kicked me out of Fort Meade, okay? Oh, did I mention that the teacher gave me a counseling statement on the day of my test, and took up my testing time, so I couldn't finish my test. And when I couldn't finish my test, I said, could you give me the counseling statement at a different time? No, it has to be filled out now. And it had all these dishonesties, so I had to write a note, in the note section and say, this is dishonest. This is not true. I never did this. I'm being put out for something I didn't do. So he said, you stop writing. Don't write anything. Don't even read it. Just sign it. He didn't leave my side. And you're supposed to give the person a chance to read a legal document like the counsel statement, which was saying, we're putting you out of Fort Meade. This he said, sat there and say, Philip, don't sign it. Don't read it. You don't have time. You're gonna end up failing, because I'm gonna have to fail you, because you're not gonna have any time for your test. You better just sign this. Okay, it's all fake. It's all untrue. So I read it. I do the proper legal thing, and I read it, and I write, and this is untrue. This is untrue. This is why. This is untrue. And all that gets washed out and removed from my paperwork, so that it's copy, so that no one could ever know what it ever said. Okay. Now they may have come back in my home and fixed the original, because they do that. They come in my home every single night. Okay. So they have the opportunity to do that. But that was what it was. And no one could read it. Because I remember speaking with a lieutenant colonel, and she says, I can't see what you wrote here. So it was permed, washed out. So he did that, and then I didn't have the time. It was a hands-on test, and he sent me across the courtyard instead of right across into the next room where I could have done my test. No, he sent me halfway across the courtyard to take my test. I had like 5 minutes. All the other soldiers got 1 hour. I did my best. I finished the assignment. I just repeated the first shot and used the first shot as the last shot, because they have to bookend. He said, I'm failing you. I'm failing you because you used the first as the last shot and you didn't shoot the last shot. You can't. Okay, that's an EO violation, because he gave every other soldier an hour, and he took away my time by himself giving. That was the same teacher that slammed the thing on the desk. Okay, I never did fell out of Fort Meade. I'm an A student. Okay, I had straight A's graduating high school, and the dean list on the honor roll, and I've passed Fort Meade 2 times, and I got 100% on my written test in his class too, as well. Okay. And they never put me on remedial, which shows that I didn't have an issue with my learning. If I had an issue and they had identified it through the practice tests, which we had plenty of, then I should have been put on remedial, but I never was, which means I didn't have an issue with my practical assignments. And in addition to that, I asked for them to help me, and they said, we have families. We can't just stay here at work and give you help. This is what they said to me. This is not the soldiers saying this. This is this federal group hazing, harassing me. This is my daily life, what I have to do. I get on the phone a good portion of the time. They will call me Annor instead of Anna. They won't call me Doeman, Miss Doeman. They'll say Miss Gomez. Miss Gomez is what they will call me. They won't want to say Miss Doeman. Okay. Oftentimes, this is the wait sometimes can be 30 minutes, maybe 40, maybe an hour, long waiting times, okay? And they close my ear. What they do is it's actually closed with a gas now, I find. I didn't know there was a muscle in the ear that you could close and open. But what they do is that when I'm listening to positive thinking, they close one of my ears down. The reason why they close one of my ears down is so I don't hear it, because they know that way it makes you stronger and you're going to actually leave their sphere of negative influence. When you're listening to the sirens, they have these sirens just go around the house hundreds of times a day, okay? Just over and 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 over. And when you're listening to it, it's driving you crazy. Hopefully not. It's driving you crazy. It's just, it's lowering your mood and it's doing that stuff. Your ears are open and you can hear everything bright. But when you're listening, but when you start listening, when I put on I'm listening to positive thinking right now, they've closed one of my ears down. When they get ready, they release a gas and my ears just open up. I don't know what it is that they're doing, okay? All of these things. So they have all these calluses and these things on my feet and that's not enough. When I decide I'm going to start running, they make my nose drip. It's a stimulant. It's a gas. It's like a pepper gas. And you could tell it's a slim in it because my nose will instantly just start dripping water. Okay, this is not anything normal, natural happening. I just touched my thigh. I bought a leg, the leg extension thing that they have in the gym. So I bought that by the grace of God, and I do 1,000 exercises on it. I do no muscle tone, just this fat glunk stuff in my thigh. They're somehow able to cause my muscles not to form. I don't know what they're doing. Okay, it's not natural, normal. They also they have cut my watch off my hand. At one point, I was sleeping. They took my military ID. They took it out of my pocket. And I woke up and I couldn't find it. I went to sleep having it. I woke up and I couldn't find it. I thought I lost it at school. They took it. Then they told me, they had my leadership say, go to the police department. Remember I told you there's this police thing? Go to the police department and report it. I went to the police department. I have an issue with I actually like the police. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I like the police. I think they're amazing. Just with they raise their hand and make the determination, to help other beings. And, you have Superman, to me, they're the next thing to that. Because when you have an issue, you do call them, okay? And, you call God first. Besides God, you call them. So I am a fan of police officers. I will say I'm not condoning if they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing, which I don't think I would hope it's not the majority doing that, okay? But I do appreciate, what they do and the good that they bring. Okay, it doesn't mean they're not being manipulated. They can't be manipulated or they're not being used politically. Okay. So yeah, sirens all day long. And when I start driving, you know how you have to pull to the side? I get pulled to the side. You know how all the traffic has to move over. Man, I'm not driving right now because he did something to my rotor. But when I was driving, it was about 5 to 6 to 7 times a day. Now, we live in Lancaster, very little population. I don't know what's going on. They were harassing me. They had them with their sirens, ambulances, police, 5 to 7. I went into the, Albertsons? They had the police, the swirling thing. I was recording. I had my new phone. I was recording everything. Every time the police went by, I was recording. This is great footage. I have a stock footage site. So I said, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because I learned you have to use this stuff. You have to, when you hear the sirens now, I start celebrating. I start saying, whoa, yes, $8.5 million. I start counting money in my mind. Oh yes, I see my papa. Because if you let you can let things bring your mood down, or you can let it bring it up. You gotta use things. Everything has an equivalent benefit. Every challenge comes with a gift that's a benefit to you. So you gotta find it. Hey, every time I hear that, I go into a meditation. I close my eyes and I say, thank you, God, thank you. You gotta be in gratitude. You gotta wake up with gratitude. That's another thing. They using some type of gas or manipulation, or inoculation. I like to smile a lot. I like to laugh. They can actually cause a person to not smile and not laugh and be more prone, to make them depressed. I'm not kidding. I'm not depressed. I'm not a depressed person. What I mean is to depress the mood. I'm not kidding. And you know how I noticed this? Was one day I was staying awake 24 hours. I was like, I'm free. Because every single night they come into this house inoculation, sleep gas, haze, harass, and this is molesting. They also put a lot of make my front yard look bad. They take away all the wood chips. They blow the wind. They can make it rain. They can blow the wind. Make it rain. I mean, actual rain. No. They have charged me a false debt. Then they had the VA charge me a false debt. And did I mention the hazing, harassing, and the molestation using sleep gas? I put in a paperwork for that to the VA. The reason I did that was because I asked the sharp forensic lady, I asked if she would take pictures of me, and she said, no, you don't need pictures, you look normal. I know I don't look normal because I'm abstinent, meaning I'm not dating anyone for the last over 10 years now, or ever since I realized there was cameras in my house. cameras following me, and cameras everywhere. So I haven't been dating. I've been interested knowing that. So it's been 10 years now, over 10 years now. You look normal. I said I shouldn't look normal because I'm abstinent for 10 years, and that's not necessarily considered normal. And so she wouldn't take any pictures of me. I knew that the pictures would prove that she said no finding. It would prove findings. So I went to the VA and asked them to take pictures. They're supposed to call Santa Monica to take the pictures and do everything. They didn't call Santa Monica, okay? They said, have you ever reported this? I said, yes, I reported it. But in reality, I'm actually molested using sleep gas every night with the other things that they're doing to me, my front yard and my backyard, to my clothes and everything else. So they have cut my clothes once, and then they take my socks and they turn them backwards. I know that's not a big thing, but you go to sleep with your socks one way and you wake up and you're looking at the Hanes thing, and I get it. But my point simply is that so they are coming in every night and they do things like that. And my point simply, and they've been stretching my underclothes, stretching them out of whack so that they're all stretchy, they're all the space in them. And they do this. I just bought some new ones to get away from that, and they're doing it again. Okay, not like me making this causes them to not do those things anymore. They do not. They do them more when I talk, because, and actually, if you use the law of attraction, you realize when you talk about something, whenever you talk about something, you actually, you create it more in your life too. Okay, so I want to let you know that too. So, because we're all working within, so we know we're living in God's spirit. We're living in a like a plastic that will form based off of what you feel and what you think and what you say. And whether it's true or not, if you keep focusing on it, you're gonna experience it, something like that, and create it. So the idea is to not focus on, and they keep you the cats are trained. They keep your eyes, and they try to, and I go outside and they'll have somebody smoking so you can smell the smoke, and so you're like, okay, well, let me get up and go back inside of my house, or you go outside to exercise and they'll have this person cutting the lawn and then all this exhaust coming into your yard. Okay, well, let me go back inside. They're always present, and it's very continuous. Okay. The dogs barking, and they actually have dogs that will go, oh, 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 like they're crying to make you feel like you're crying. And they may have a gas to make you feel like you're crying. I'm not kidding. And that's how I feel. I'm not sure about that one. But what I do know is that, they do have all of these things going on. They wrinkle all of my clothes, and some of the clothes will not iron out. Like I said, they put dust, they put little deceased bugs everywhere, little deceased bugs, especially on the windowsill, and dust everywhere. And they would leave every little deceased, they would say that the cat brought in a deceased, they thank God she didn't do it anymore, animal, like some bird or something, but caught it, not brought it, but caught it. These are trained birds that they're training to allow to be caught now. Okay, so now I'm not judging. I don't want to judge. Knock on wood there, by the grace of God. Bless everyone. Bless the people I'm talking about. Bless the kitty. Bless everyone. Okay. They had these trained rats come into our garage. Now this is where the cat lives, so there's no way a rat's gonna go and house up. This is trained rats come in. They ate the car, ate the seat in the car. This is not like real rats, okay? For no reason, they just ate my seats. There's a big hole in my, or there's a hole in my seat, okay, where they just ate clear through my car seat. They don't do that. Rats don't do that, okay? This is this group having these trained rats do this, or they have a device that make it look like a rat bite, and they're doing it because the rats disabled our washing machine. They also turned off our hot water heater. These people did. So we don't have hot baths. We haven't had hot baths for long, but we do use those little immersive things that you buy and put in. So we use them, but they would start turning the electricity off, even though it's within the right wattage. Or with me, the day I decide I'm gonna take a hot bath, I do all this workout, I'm gonna have my sweat vest and I'm ready to go take a bath, and they have a break. That day it breaks. The day I'm gonna hop in and have a hot bath, or and so now we don't have electricity because they also had the electricity people slowly raise our electricity. So to the point where it's $200, $250 a month. That's a lot. That's almost like rent. And we're not using that much electricity, okay? And then right now we're running everything on installment. I'm going to pay this $4,000 bill that is an overcharge. It's a complete overcharge, okay? Now they're saying they're going to go up on the water. We barely use water because it's cold. We used to heat it with the little camp thing, but now it's cold. So now we're using just the tea thing. But this same group came in our house, broke our, so I bought a 1,000 watt box so that I could use my steamer. I bought a steamer so I could work out steam. But they don't want me to sweat out these inoculations and this stuff they're doing. So they broke this box that has 1,000 watts. So as soon as I used it the first day, then it's from Temu. I know they didn't send me a broken box. The next day, I'm writing reports to the IG of all this stuff they're doing, and I'm, writing all these commanders that they're doing. And they've just shut the box off. And if you're using those Mac computers, those iMacs, boom, they just go right off. You lose your work or whatever if you haven't said whatever, maybe, I don't know. Because now I'm using my laptop that I swore I never would use, my M1 that only has like 250 gigs every couple seconds, just like this iPhone I'm using. I used all the space up, okay? Now, I don't know how many gigs is on here, thank God. It's like, I think it's a terabyte. I'm a space user, okay? So, anyway, I'm using that one. I'm so glad to have it because it's the only thing that preserves energy. So, I'm all right to Apple and say, may you make an iMac that has a battery? I'm telling you, because we're going through it. So now I have so it broke. It completely broke. I even sent a Temu. Mom asked me to get a refund. I don't want to ask a refund for the box because I know they didn't send me a broken box. These people are the ones. Not that I'm trying to put them down. I brought these wigs I was trying to wear. They call it laceless or glueless and all this stuff. They didn't send it to me. They sent me Halloween wigs. I spent like $30, $40, $50, $70 on these wigs. They didn't send me the right ones. Temu wasn't the one messing up my order, I don't believe. They sent a broken computer. You get refurbished. The computer, we opened it said replace battery. It doesn't work. And Mom charged it all day at her, she goes to her shop. And then so we sent it back, to Temu. But so I tried to send it back to Temu. It had already been like 6 months because I didn't want to send it back because I knew it wasn't Temu. I knew that it was these people, and it wouldn't be fair to say, send me another box. So I asked for replacements. Mom said, you should try. And I was like, Mom, but and I tell Mom and Tony, hey, this is going on. They say, we don't want to discuss it. This is right. You shouldn't really discuss negativity because it will grow, So I have learned. And they're also helping this group. And so are my commanders. I told you that my commander came up, the new one, and said, in my sleep quarters at the Best Western, said, go to your room. Only I can come to your room. Stay. You can't see your family. You can't see anyone. Don't ever come out of your room till I tell you. That's what he told me. I said, that violates the EO. There were soldiers going in the smoke area, coming and leaving and going and getting food from the, like a shop at, or PX or the gas station, going to get snacks in the middle of the night and stuff. And I said, that's a violation of the EO. I can't. I knew he was asking me to go up and let the sleep gas so I could be molested. And I was like, no. So I said, I need to speak to the commander, who I never met. This is my new unit. And this is my first drill. No, I'm going to call the police. Again, the police thing. Okay, this is some group that's a police derivative. No one who's not chummy with the police, you're going to call the police, because the police might say, I'm not going to bother with them, I'm going to get you. So most people do not going to ask to call the police. So I'm going to call the police and tell them, he said that I was schizophrenic. Now, schizophrenia is discovered in adolescence and when a person's a toddler, and also cases of it are extraordinarily rare. If less than 3% have mental issues, and half of those are fake. We know half of those are invented because they want benefits or they want this. So now you're really dealing with a 1.5% of the whole American population, and even less than that would be in the United States military. And on top of that, Uncle Sam stamped me, and he didn't stamp me, but said a person who's been in the Army as long as she has, at her age range, at her time, has 0% chance of having a mental health issue. Thank you, Uncle Sam. Okay. Plus, okay, so all that. So he goes and calls the police. I leave. Okay. And the reason why I leave is because at the USO, they did some kind of, what you call a setup. I go inside the USO. Okay. So this group, not the United States Army, is a rich organization. This group said, we're out of money. We don't have any place to, they were trying to start the molestation thing of me then. We don't have a place to sleep. Go sleep in this room with no rules. You don't know if it's strangers going in there. None of the soldiers went in that room. It's called open bay. Nobody went there. Only one of my buddies, my smart buddies, went there. Okay. Nobody else went. And they actually phased out all of my friends who were there. This is at the 306. Nobody went there. As a matter of fact, one soldier said I left because she didn't have any place to sleep. She was driving out there and she had no place to sleep, so she just out-processed the Army completely. They were trying to do the molestation thing. We don't have the money. Okay? So I never did that. And I didn't want to sleep in my car, so I went to the USO. And some soldiers were sleeping in their car. So I went to the USO to sleep because there wasn't anywhere for us to sleep. And also I am driving 100 miles, and with the traffic, these people would back to back the traffic. So a 2-hour drive could take 5 hours, and I've had it take 5 hours with them just cramming the freeway with all this traffic, and on a Sunday, and all this is just challenging to get home. I have gotten off the freeway and gone. I've had memberships to gyms the whole time. As a matter of fact, I would go to the gym to spend the night, and I would just work out all night while I was in the Army in the drill, because there's no place to sleep. Work out all night and then just go to work. So I would just do 3 days, and that was before the sleep gas and the molestation. Okay, I would just do 3 days in a row and then go home. Okay, so I do believe that was before that, or it could have been during. Okay, yeah, because at one point I decided I don't want to work out all night, and I decided to earlier on, though, there wasn't the molestation wasn't earlier on. It wasn't when we were going there, but later on, I decided I don't want to work all night. I would just sit here and watch movies, and they would release the sleep gas right in the gym. I would fall asleep, and then I'd wake up, because something you drop, this gas is a fake gas, not real sleep. And my phone would always drop out of my hand. But when a person really falls asleep, they don't drop anything from their hand. I could be wrong on that, but I'm not sure. But the person would come and say, you can't sleep here, or we're videotaping you. This is what they would say. I wasn't sleeping. It's like, it's not me. We have 24-hour duty in the United States Army. To get inside of the United States military, you have to be able to do your 24-hour duty. I was never able to get away with sleeping. Now, we would do the thing where I would sleep and somebody would stay awake and we would switch. They would allow that. Some people would not allow that. Both are supposed to stay awake. But I was able to stay awake. Oh, and one day when I slept and and I was trying to do the switch thing and somebody didn't wake me up or whatever was going on. Of course, I woke up and who's right there? My drill sergeant. And I did 48 hours. Okay. So I'm able to stay awake. Okay. So that being said, and you learn your lesson after that, because there goes your free day. Not that I did anything else but stay in my room and try to practice working out. Okay. So we move on to say that, so he came up to me and he calls the police. Oh, at the USO, I go into the sleep bay room, this little sleep room. Of course, it's packed to capacity. The USO is never packed to capacity, okay? At the LAX is where I was, the Bob Hope USO. It's packed to capacity, and I go to sleep. I wake up, and all these people are in there, and all the cots are filled. And I know this is these people, and something tells me to leave. Again, the small voice, and I say, "No, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm just gonna let me just relax." Something told me get up and leave. I didn't. After a while, one of the people put his, I don't know if he put his foot, his leg, something on my cot, right? So I move my cot over and I say, "Excuse you, please watch what you're doing. You have something here. Please watch what you're doing." Okay. So I scoot over, he scoots over, and I should have left by then. I mean, it's too much drama, too much, right? Just too much. Plus, I wouldn't want to be in a room. It's just too much. Those people weren't there. He was not there when I had first lied down, because I wouldn't have gone in there with all those people. When I came in there, there was a little bit of space. Okay. Now, when I wake up, I don't know if they brought more cots in. It's just packed. Okay, but it's more packed than normal. Now, so he does that. A white guy, it didn't have to be white. A white guy way over, like 2 or 3 down, gets up. Now, this doesn't sound like the USO does it. If you've been at the USO, you know they're pretty much empty. This group packs everywhere I'm at. It packs the store. If I go to a store, it's like 1,000 people in the store, and the lines are like 50 people long. I'm not kidding. And they, I guess they tell the store owner, "Don't worry about it, because we're bringing you extra sales. You'll make $5,000 today instead of 300. Okay, so maybe that's why. I don't really know. I don't know. Okay, I'm not saying, but so a white guy gets up and he says, "You can't be loud like that." Now, this is 5 minutes after we both have stopped talking. He went his way. I'm going back to sleep. You can count. A couple minutes go by. This white guy gets up and says, "How could you be so loud?" None of them were sleeping there. They were all actors. Like, they're all being told to do this, to be in this room, because I'm there. They wouldn't be there if I wasn't there, okay? Well, let me go hang out at the LAX USO. I don't know. It was just packed, okay? It wasn't a single cot left. They were all packed, okay? So now he says, "You woke me up." This is what he says. And I said, "Sir, we are told to speak assertively. I did not yell. I simply said, please move." He did move. The situation is handled. He says, "I'm going to the front desk." He goes to the front desk and the lady calls me out and she says, "What happened in there?" Then this is like now 30 minutes since everything happened. And I said, "Somebody put their foot, something on my cot, and I asked them to move it. I did so respectfully." And she says, "Okay, go back in and relax." She calls the police. And I imagine she tells them I'm stubborn and I refuse to leave. This never happened. The police calls me out and says, "What happened?" I said, "Someone put their foot in my," they said, "Did he molest you, or did he put his hands on you in an adult way or something like that?" I said, "No." And then the male said, I think they're both Latino. Not that that's matter. And the male says, "Have you ever been arrested?" I say, "Yes." He says, "Give me backup right away." This is what he says. So the SWAT team arrives at the USO. Just about. Not the SWAT team, but like 15 officers. A whole lot of police officers arrive, okay? They tell me, the police officers, "Go inside and relax. Everything's good. Go inside, relax." I go inside, relax. I'm woken up again. Okay, now I should have left by now. You should know, right? A tall police officer, like the chief of all of the police, like the tallest police officer ever, goes, "You get out of here. This is the USO. You do not have the right to raise a ruckus and make a lot of noise. Get out of here now. We are ejecting you." And I said, "Let me call first." When everything happened, I called my a police officer that's in my unit, because I found out my unit is filled with police officers. I didn't know that. When I had the false arrest, my commander was a police officer at the time. I didn't know that. Oh, you know what? I need to stop this and start it back. So it's 38. So I'm going to stop it and come back.